Hello, everyone. Welcome to another mindset shift. I'm Valerie Friedlander, your host and certified life leadership coach. And Happy New Year. It is 2020, which is a little crazy, but I'm not going to harp on that because everybody is harping on that. What I am going to talk to you about is resolutions. So the reason I want to talk to you about this is because I just heard one of my dear, wonderful Chicago friends talking about the cliche of a New Year's resolution to go to the gym more often. And I'm like, sweetie, it's okay. We don't need to label making resolutions. Okay, it's cliche because it's something that lots of people do, lots of people talk about, and then there's this big backlash, I can talk today, about, about making resolutions, and we should have a word instead, and we should have intentions instead, and like why you shouldn't make resolutions and all of this stuff. So I've said some of those things too, but I want to say that if you are feeling motivated to make a resolution and do something new, then do it. Don't let any of the shoulds or anything that anybody says, the fads or anything like that, stop you from making a resolution that you want to make. The biggest thing about resolutions and goals and setting goals for the beginning of the year and all of that is twofold. One, don't wait until a new year to make a resolution or to decide to do things differently. You do not need to wait until that point to make a change. Now, that's not to say that you might not want to wait until there are certain conditions that you know you can achieve before you make that change. But if you're waiting for some magical time or some sign or something to do something different that you want to do different, that's where we get all fuzzy and like stuck is, well, I'm waiting for external things to happen before I can have internal things happen. And that's a thing that's going to keep you in the place that you're in. Like, when is the right time? There is no right time. But that doesn't mean that the new year isn't a right time. It can totally be a right time. There is a factor of the social support of change. Like when we have times that are periods of change that are socially accepted, socially reinforced and supported, times that we do things differently, then use that momentum to propel you into something new. There's nothing wrong with that. So please don't stop yourself from using this time as your right time to do something different. Now, the other thing about that is that if you try to do something different because it's the time to do it and then you fall off, the labels that you put on yourself or on that change can also be a sabotager. So like, just because you didn't change in the new year doesn't mean you can't change, or that you didn't sustain the change or the resolution or whatever thing you want to start, like going to the gym or a diet or a new routine or some new habit or whatever it is. Just because you fell off of it, that's when we start to, oh, well, I guess I can't really do that. And then we go back to our old habits. So if this is a time that works for you, you're feeling the pull of an end period. There's a word for that, and I can't think of what it is right now. So like that, this is a time of transition, right? Old year to new year. It's a time of transition. So use it like that. If you feel motivated to do that, don't let it being a fad or cliche stop you from doing that. Okay. So now, if you have decided that you want to do something different, there are a lot of factors to take into consideration. I can't cover everything on this particular mindset shift episode. There will be more. Don't worry. If you want to dive deeper into it and you want actual personal support in making some shifts, then definitely send me a message and we'll talk, because that is what I'm here to help you do, is actually create your life your way by your rules so that you are creating the success that you are looking to create. So if you're looking for that, definitely send me a message. You can get me on Instagram DM, Facebook DM, or send me an email at valerie@valeriefriedlander.com. I'd be happy to chat with you. Okay, so as far as making the changes are concerned, the biggest thing, because if you're thinking, yes, I've decided to do something different, you've already decided to do something different. You probably have set up a bit of a plan, at least somewhat of a plan, to move forward. There are lots of components to setting up a plan and creating goals and all of that. We're not going to get into that right now. I'm going to assume that right now you already have those things in place. You've already set your experiment, right? Like, so that's one of the things I'll talk about is once you have the vision, then you create the experiment, then you test the experiment, and then you feed it back into your plan and feed it back into the next form or the next version of the experiment, allow the experiment to evolve. Or maybe it's feeding back into your own vision and you realize, well, that didn't actually fit. Discerning those things, again, that's what I help people do. I want you to know that a lot of times people take the information of you've set your experiment and you're taking action. Maybe you haven't taken action yet. I want you to know that when you take action, a lot of times it's going to feel uncomfortable, whether it's something that you want to create or something that you maybe actually isn't aligned for you. One doesn't matter. You're going to feel uncomfortable because you're shifting a comfort zone. So it's not going to feel good. Okay. So a lot of times when we set goals and we create a plan and we're excited about it and then we do it for a little bit and it starts to feel uncomfortable, at that point, we usually interpret that discomfort as bad. And, oh, maybe this isn't a good fit. Maybe this isn't right for me. Maybe something's wrong. Sometimes there's more information towards that than others. So I encourage you, if you're starting to feel that way, check in as to what it is that's leading you to interpret that this isn't working for you. Like, what about is it that you're not taking action? Well, maybe there's something behind that. Is it that it just feels weird when you're taking action, or like something's missing, or whatever? Like, explore that. Get curious about it versus judging it. Because when you judge your experiment, you sabotage your experiment. So just get curious about the experiment. You are a scientist. Okay. So getting curious about the experiment. Now, I'm going to use a personal example because we're making some shifts in my home around some of our morning routines, doing things a little bit different because we've had a lot of stress at home in the mornings. Like, I have 2 boys, a 5-year-old and a heading towards 9-year-old, and a husband, and everybody has their dynamics, and like it's like herding cats to get everybody out the door. And my husband gets super stressed out about it, and I get super stressed out about it, and kids are stressed out about it, and we kind of set up this dynamic. Because how you start your day, yes, you can shift your dynamic at any time during the day. I totally believe that, but that's harder for kids. So when you start the day off on a stressed out foot, it's generally gonna stay that way. So I'm tired of that dynamic. My husband's tired of that dynamic. Everybody's tired of that dynamic. So we decided to do something a little bit different and are prepping things earlier. And just the goal is to be calm and enjoy each other in the morning. So we've set up some new structures to help us enjoy each other. Now, note here, the goal is about an experience of life. It's not, we're going to do this, and this first thing in the morning, and this is the way we built those things off of what we want to experience the morning like. So I encourage you, if you haven't created some sort of plan for yourself, or even if you have, to like check in and how it aligns with the experience of life that you want to have, the way you want to show up to it, the impact that you want to make in your life and the people around you. That's going to be that ultimate goal that's going to help you assess your experiment and how well it's working. If you set up an experiment that's not connected to that, you may have a misalignment, and that may actually be what's creating discomfort later on. But I digress. So you have that plan based on the way you want to experience life. So we want to enjoy each other in the morning. So we set up a plan to do that and also to create a great foundation for our day. Okay. So doing that, it's been going really well. It's only a couple days into the new year and back to school. We're back to school now because we're doing makeup days for the Chicago strike. But it's only a few days in. But already this morning, I noticed some of the old habit creeping back in. We are used to being stressed in the morning. That is our norm. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. It's not fun, but it's what we're used to. You will create what you're used to. Your natural, everything about it will naturally create and recreate what you're used to having. Like everything around you, all the dynamics in your life are based around what you're used to doing, the way you're used to showing up. So when you want to change that, it impacts everything. There's a ripple effect. So we're used to being stressed out. So we're naturally going to unconsciously create dynamics to get stressed out. So that's going to be the little pieces of the experiment. So we have our plan, but then we pull in the tactics, the ways we engage and staying connected to that ultimate vision of what we want to experience. And this is why this is so important, to be flexible when things come up, when we create stress, to shift it back to what we want, to that enjoy each other, calm space, and giving ourselves room to do that, to fall down and have it not go so well, and check in and assess the experiment. Was it the experiment, or did we throw a wrench in it without thinking about it? Okay, so I noticed that happening of like, well, how important is this thing that we're getting really upset about? The door is open, cold air, it's threatening a value of environmental friendliness, of financial friendliness. Like, okay, but really how much air is coming into the house? Like, it's not going to be that open. That, like, really, I always have loved that question. How important is it? Not really that important. Now we can explore like those values that got threatened and kind of go into that to shift it and have the conversations we need to have, to set the boundaries we need to have, all that stuff. Can do that. But in that moment, noticing that you're falling back into a pattern and catching it, going, oh, what's going on here? How important is that to keep that pattern going? Now, when it comes to those ways we experience the world, it's a real, those are deeply seated. Those aren't just about action. It takes action to shift them, but they're the hardest ones to shift. I will tell you, years ago when my husband and I were first dating, I had been in some fairly dysfunctional relationships before that. And I was always like, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's all you people. And then he was actually pretty healthy. I mean, not to say that there weren't dynamics that other people were creating too, it takes two to tango, but he wasn't participating in that. And I would still create the drama. And I was like, oh my God, like it's easier to see when you don't have someone playing with you that you're actually the one creating the drama. Okay. So those dynamics to create what's comfortable, like drama was comfortable for me. So naturally I'm going to try and create it subconsciously. You are not doing this on purpose. So don't beat yourself up for doing it. When you notice that you're doing it, that's the number one thing. Don't beat yourself up. I'll beat you up for beating yourself up. No, kidding. That's what I had a next door neighbor who used to say that. You hurt yourself and I'll beat you up. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But yet we do it. We do it. We fall down, we make a mistake, we fall back into a pattern, and then we beat ourselves up. And I say we totally transparently because I do it too. Stop. And just like stop. And then check in what's going on. Okay. So again, there's only so much we can go into in this video, but when you're starting a new habit, resolution, whatever it is that you're trying, goal that you have, just know that your subconscious brain is going to sabotage you because it's different. Not because it's bad, not because there's something wrong with you, because it's different. And we're always trying to create that equilibrium, create that status quo, that comfort zone, whatever you want to call it. We're always trying to do that. So it's normal for you to do that. There's nothing wrong with you. The trick then is, what do you want to do with it? What's going to help you get back to center and focus on creating that new pattern so that that does become your norm? Because it will become your norm. I don't create all the drama anymore. He does too. No, I'm kidding. Well, sort of. But it's about recognizing that, doing something, and then consciously doing something different, engaging your frontal cortex and doing something different. So just know that that's something that's likely going to happen. Almost guaranteed. I can almost guarantee you that's going to happen. And to give yourself some grace, and not enough that you're like, oh, well, I guess this is just the way it is. I guess this is just who I am. No, you choose. You get to decide. All right. So kudos to you if you have decided to do something different in the new year and harness the social energy of taking different action for a new year, new you, whatever, 2020, all the things. Who cares if they're cliche? It's okay. And do that which you want to do. If you are struggling with this, if you want to understand the dynamics of the way your subconscious brain is typically working when you're doing life as it normally goes for you, and also under stress, so you can understand those patterns more clearly, you can spot them faster, definitely reach out. That's what the Energy Leadership Index assessment, the mindset assessment that I offer, does for you. It helps you see those patterns so you catch them quicker, you engage them faster, and you also have a tool to harness what you already know and what's already your norm to pull yourself into a more productive, more effective space. So that's what the assessment is all about, and the 90-minute consult call that we go into and really suss that out for you. So if that's something that you want to help you move forward more easily into those changes you want to make in the new year, reach out. I will have links below so that you can sign up, or you can send me a message and ask any questions you have. I'm happy to chat with you. And best wishes for a new year. I will see you all very soon.